Welcome back to the Thunder Forum Live. Thunder dropped their third game of the season, a 121 to 119 loss to the Dallas Mavericks. Thunder trailed most of the game, including by 10 at one point late in the fourth quarter. They're able to come back, unable to get it done. SGA gets the inbound, and they foul him to send him to the line, which is smart on their part. Neither team have timeouts left. Instead of allowing a potential three to tie up the game, you foul him. He makes the first, misses the second. Thunder somehow get it, but not enough time left for Lou Dort to get a good shot off and the Thunder fall.
Yeah, the Thunder tonight, they got killed on the glass by a Mavericks team that had the size over them. I think that's the risk you're going to take when you don't have a center healthy, is you are going to get beat on the boards the majority of nights, no matter who you play. And the Thunder tonight, it hurt them because Mavericks, they got a lot of second chance opportunities, cashed in on some threes whenever the Thunder needed stops majorly from whenever they got the offensive boards. Shai and J-Dub did all they could tonight. Shai was getting double teamed a lot of the night, and he was still able to make stuff happen. The Mavs threw a couple different zones at the Thunder. They were still able to run a pretty effective offense, but they couldn't get stops and had no answer for the Mavs size.
You can't. I mean, at one point, this was 53-27 on the glass. I don't know what the final stat was.
It was 53-29 is what it ended up.
It's something's got to happen, guys. This team, I know Hartenstein comes back probably in a couple weeks, but they're going to have to do something because the small lineup can be great. It can be effective, but I am so sick and tired of losing to PJ Washington. How is this guy going for like 25 and 15 against the Thunder every night?
Hey, do you want to hear a crazy stat? Blow your mind stat right here. PJ Washington had 17 rebounds. Lively and Gafford combined had 17. So they didn't get beat by the bigs.
Yeah, PJ Washington killed. Been great.
He owns them lately, man. They got
against the Thunder.
He has career gains every night against him.
Guys, this was without Luka Doncic.
Correct.
And I will give it up to Jesse. I was watching with somebody. I said, there's no chance they get back in this game. I kind of said this game's over. They did get back into it, but you just are not. You're not going to win many games when you get out rebounded by that much. And I'm looking at the totals here. They made. Let's see. The Thunder actually made more field goals than Dallas, but free throw line. Again, this is another game in which the Thunder, 36 free throws, Mavs. I mean, and I think part of it is you can't cover them down low. You're not big enough, and so you're having to play a little more physical, and it's causing teams to go the line.
With 5 fouls, it's going to happen when your tallest guy in your starting five is the point guard. But they did sign Brandon Carlson yesterday. G League pickup.
What's he going to do, though, you think?
I don't know. But, I mean, he had a good year, or has been very good to start the season, 14 and 8.7 a game. So, I mean, it's pretty good. It's just a matter of, signing somebody. There's not anybody out there. I mean, you're going with guys that are way out of their prime and honestly probably are not in playing shape right now. I think you're just going to have to ride it out for this few weeks and hope you can get Hartenstein and Jay Will back.
As far as who's guarding PJ Washington, nobody, because the Thunder are going to continue to double down on bigs, and I'm against that. You can't do that all game long. You can't double down every time a big touches the ball. Let him beat you by 2 pointers instead of 3 at some point.
Well, there is a specific stretch in the game, I think, in which the Thunder, they, in my opinion, had the most momentum in the game, and that's really the stretch that lost them the game. Was they were down by 5. Shai had a great look at a mid-range. He missed it. Spencer Dinwiddie goes down and knocks down a 3. Shai then misses another shot, and Spencer Dinwiddie hits back-to-back threes, put the Mavs up by 11. And that was the point in the game where we feel like if Shai hits that mid-range shot, cuts it down to 3 points, I think there's a good chance the Thunder might end up tying that game, having a chance to win before there was just not enough time left. But the Thunder, what they do, they gave up back-to-back offensive rebounds, and which led to those shots. So
yeah, and the Thunder, they got to. I mean, this is a game you had Wallace 0 for 5 from 3. Joe again was 2 for 6. So, but and then Wiggins was 2 of 7 from 3. So the Thunder didn't shoot it very well from the outside. They didn't have Caruso or Chet. I mean, obviously Chet's out for a while, but they didn't have Caruso again. This is game 3 now without Caruso. So they're hurt too. I realize that Luka's being out for Dallas. So, but I really honestly going in the game, if Luka was playing, I wasn't picking the Thunder. Even without Luka, it would have been tough. When they match up against teams that are more physical and bigger than them without Chet, and guys, even if Chet played, the Mavericks, it's not a good matchup for the Thunder. It's just not.
I think it would be a different result tonight. If
it wasn't last year.
Well, I understand that, but I'm saying
it's different teams. It's different teams.
How is this year's team different than last year's? I'm saying on the Thunder-wise. I'm asking.
I think
this is just dumb to even talk about because, I mean, right now they lost by 2 if Chet Holmgren plays. If it's not happening, so why even talk about it? Yeah, they're going to win that game. Come on. Like, seriously.
I agree. I think my point I'm saying is out of all the teams on the West, this is the team you don't want the Thunder playing in the playoff. Number one team.
I don't want any part of
Mavs. I don't want any part of Mavs, dude. I just don't.
Kryptonite. Hey, timeline on iHeart. I would say he's back within 2 weeks.
He's being reevaluated next week.
I will say maybe the biggest bright spot for the Thunder was Dylan Jones. 10 points, 3 or 4 assists. But it doesn't matter. Teams like the Mavs, guys, if you're going to just get destroyed on the glass, you're not going to win games. You're not going to – if they would have got out-rebounded by 10, they win this game. They got out-rebounded by 26.
Yeah.
Do you guys think – let me ask you this.
Basketball.
Let me ask you guys this. You were talking about the Thunder, and they're better this year. The Mavs are better this year.
I
don't
think the Mavs are better.
They're not performing like
no,
it.
But they're better. Come playoffs, they're going to be a better team.
On paper, they are, but they have not been performing like it, Chad.
I get that, but I'm just saying I think they're – and I don't know why PJ turns into that. I don't know why. He looks like – I don't know what mean to be mean by this, but it's like a guy rolled up out of the community center and just dominates you.
I think
I don't get that. The guys that
PJ does not seem like a – I mean, he's not like the most
player.
He's not an all-star. He's not an all-star.
He's not an all-star, Hunter. That's all I'm saying.
Yeah.
Jeez.
But you don't have to be an all-star to be a good basketball player that can have good nights.
I agree. He always has great nights against the Thunder. I don't understand it. You watch the next game he plays, he'll go 2 of 10 from 3. Watch.
Oh, yeah. No. And I don't know what Najee Marshall's final stat line was, Hunter, Jay. I don't know if maybe you guys have it, but for some reason, he couldn't miss a shot either, and he's a below-average offensive player, in my opinion.
He's a good
Marshall
piece.
had 13 points.
I think he's a great piece for the Mavs.
Yeah.
Guys, the Thunder lost this game with Klay Thompson going 1 of 11.
Yeah.
And SGA played really well tonight, guys.
Other
What
than
was SGA? At one point, SGA was 12 of 15, Hunter.
Yeah, he played good tonight.
He finished with 36, 13 of 19, 1 of 1 from 3. J-Dub, another good night, 27 for him. 4 assists, 5 boards, 11 of 17 from the floor.
It's hard to judge a whole lot with the Thunder with what they got injury-wise right now, and you're going to lose some of these games like this. I think the frustrating part is this, okay, and Bishop's asking about the new center. And Jeremy, you brought this up, I know, but – okay, say iHeart's out let's just say another 5-6 games. The Western Conference guys at the end of the year is going to come down to a few games on seedings all throughout the probably 2 through 6 it did last year. If you need to, if this guy they saw, get him up there. I mean, for rebounding or anything, I think you're going to have to start playing some other options at big.
Tonight did not play, but yeah, I would imagine that pretty soon he's going to start playing. I mean, Tuesday night they play Wemby down in San Antonio. I mean, why else and bring them up to the active roster if you're not going to play them? They need help there. for these next few weeks if Hartenstein and Jay Will are back at that point in time.
Yeah. Hey, I'll get off here for a second. We can have call-ins real quick.
Well, I think something too that's not being talked about with this Thunder team that's kind of hurting them is the inability right now for Case and Wallace to not hit an open three. Because last year he was really good at that, and this year, I mean, it's early in the season, I know, but when they needed threes from him tonight, he could not hit them. And
You got to be.
I hope this doesn't continue for the rest of the season. I have confidence he'll start to find a shot. Right now, he's in a slump, but we're talking about the same thing with Caruso as well.
This game was not lost on the offensive end. This game was lost because they could not rebound and they could not defend P.J. Washington. I think we have a caller on here. We have Colin. Time to express yourself.
What's up?
So,
But I agree with all the stuff you guys are saying about the game, about how it's, and I feel the same way about we can only do so much with no big man against more physical teams, and you kind of just have to roll. I'm surprised we even made that last push down 11 with 2 minutes left. Like, I was expecting the game to be over. But it's, in my opinion, these early games are good, and you get to find out about how good your team is, but this really won't affect later down in the seeding. Like, it's going to go down to the last few games that determines, and I feel like we're all going to be like one of the top seeds in the West, so you can just kind of try to win the best games you can and just kind of keep moving forward until you get the injuries back healthy.
And the thing is, Colin, if you said, man, who are you really looking for going into this season, guys to really keep an eye on, everyone was going to mention Chet, kind of his second year, what he was going to be like.
yeah.
And then the other two guys was Hartenstein and Caruso. None of them available tonight. So, yeah, it is a big deal. Donnie asked, how can you call in? There's the link right there, Donnie. Call in.
I'm going to also add before I go that it felt like after halftime, Mav started to adjust and kind of double team Shai, and Shai knew how to break the zone, but we just couldn't hit our open corner shots because you saw Shai. He was either driving and hitting the layup or driving and kicking out, and we just can't have Case and Wallace missing all his shots and Aaron Wiggins missing all his shots. Like, when they take Shai out the game, we have to have other people step up besides J-Dub.
Let me ask you something, Colin. You bring up a point about SG, and I'm curious what Hunter and Jackson think on this too. You got a guy who can get in the paint anytime he wants. They're finding that corner shot. Is it? Because I would love to see OKC put a few guys together and get an elite shooter.
I don't think at this point in time any moves need to be made.
Would you like for them to have an elite 3-point shooter is my question.
I mean, I would think if you ask Mark Dagnall, they already have that right now.
Yeah. Who is he?
Isaiah Joe.
Where was he?
Yeah, not a good night.
Yeah.
And a rough stretch for him, but I mean, he could be that guy for OKC. I don't know of a player that they could. And again, it comes down to chemistry. This team has a lot of chemistry. They're super young. I think that they have the potential to be special. Why blow that up right now? I don't see the need.
If it's the right guy.
Jeremy, off the top of your head, is there any realistic elite shooters Thunder could go out and get that you can think
Buddy
of?
Hield would have been great. I wish they would have.
Well, they're not. The Warriors aren't going to trade him.
No, they're not. But I can think of some shooters that could get the job done or have before. Give me.
Jerm, I think you need to get on the ESPN trade generator.
I will.
The next one of these, and maybe you can how the salaries work and all that, and come back with your elite 3 shooter.
I'll get you one. Hey, thanks for the call, Colin. Way to start it off. Looks like we got Platoon 20 on the line.
Hey guys, as you all are like me, I think we're all frustrated with PJ Washington, right? It's not like this guy's some elite superstar. Against other teams, he looks pretty average to me. I mean, he's good. Don't get me wrong, he's a good player, but I mean, every time he plays us, we put him up at like 3 higher levels than what he actually is. Like in the playoffs last year, he was mostly a non-factor for every other playoff series except against OKC. So I don't know what we're doing with him, but we're doing something wrong because he doesn't go off like that like he does against other teams. The other thought I had was when the outside guys, when Shai's driving and kicking out and none of our guys are hitting, we don't have a great answer for that. My suggestion would be to have Shai just drive every time. If it's obvious that their guys are not going to hit shots, have Shai drive lane every time and draw fouls because he's good at that. Now, that's not sustainable for a long period of time because he could get hurt or he get tired, and that's a hard way to play for multiple games in a row. And I'm sure Shai would probably prefer not to play like that and would prefer to have other guys hit shots. But when the other outside guys are just breaking everything, I don't think you have any other choice. You just got to drive the lane and hope to get contact. And he's really good when he does that. So that's my thought.
Yeah, and I think that Shai this season, Thunder as a team, they really haven't gotten the favor of the whistle, but that doesn't stop them from continuing to drive to the rim. Hunter, I don't know if you have the stat, but if the Thunder still lead the league in drives to the basket attempted per game and their percentage of doing that. So
don't you think they're doing that a little bit? Because I don't think they think they're just an outstanding shooting team. They're at their best when they're slashing and getting in the paint. Again, Isaiah Joe can be a great shooter. He's shown that. Can he be the guy to consistently hit down clutch 3-pointers? I don't know. SGA had 8 assists tonight to 1 turnover. That's great. Could have easily had 10 or 11.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Well, and Jeremy, I think there's the argument that the Mavericks, they have Luka, they have Clay, they have PJ Washington, but those guys even have their streaky nights from 3. Like Clay this year so far has been really inconsistent. PJ Washington only seems to play good against the Thunder. Luka Doncic some nights has awful shooting nights. So it's like there's not just very many elite shooters that are going to come in and shoot 40-50% every single night. I think you're going to have to – some nights there's going to be Isaiah Joe. Like tonight he went 2 for 6. He's going to have his off nights, but you just have to trust that he's going to knock down the threes when you need it most.
Yeah, that's how it works in the NBA. It's just about any team for, all of time since the league's been established.
Mm-hmm. You're muted, Jeff.
Sorry, guys, I was off. You're not going to win in many games in the NBA. Leading rebounder has 5 rebounds. This tonight came down to rebounding. Also, I think the Thunder shot too many threes. 42 threes is a lot.
It's way too many.
And here's the deal. When you're playing a team like Dallas, though, and you saw it happen tonight, they would get down in the block, and then with their big guys, you couldn't. They were having trouble finishing down there. They had some blocks, and I think maybe I don't know. I'm not playing for the Thunder. And maybe they settled a little bit for the outside shot. I don't know. I'm just saying. I'm looking at the stat line here. I'm thinking I knew they shot a lot, but 42 threes, and you thought the Mavs only shot 27, and you felt like they shot a lot.
Yeah, and I think part of it, Jay, is the lack of the whistle the Thunder have been getting the last few nights. I think that plays a part in them opting to go for threes. I saw a stat a minute ago that they lead the NBA in drive percentage, but they have the second lowest free throw attempts. 12 out of the 14 games, their opponent has shot more free throws than they have. So I think that's part of it, of Dagnall realizing that as of late, they haven't been getting the whistle. So trying to dish it out, and they just weren't making the shots tonight.
Well, and the other thing is this. I think we've all played basketball at some point, not any level like this, but when you have a big guy like Chet or whoever, and they're not playing, when you're driving, there's nobody coming over and worried about a lob or anything. They have no threat at all of anybody being lobbed to right now. I mean, there's nothing. So the middle of the lane, even when you drive, you don't have the drop-offs. It's just a little different without having a big guy there at all, and they don't have it. So, and that's probably leading to more threes because they're spreading the floor that way to try to get more outside shots. I mean, you got a lot of guys on the perimeter right now for the Thunder. So I do think
what do you guys think? I won't even bring up names, though. I'm not going to bring up names.
Why? Bring it
I,
up.
to me, I just wish they had a 3-point shooter that was just that was their role. I know the guy.
They do, Jerm. He's on the OKC Blue. You really want to bring him up? He made 12 threes the other night. You want to bring him up?
Oh, I know who it is.
Buddy Boeheim. You want to bring Buddy Boeheim down to play?
Now, who was the guy they drafted out of college that was like the 3-point guru in the NCAA tournament? He didn't make the roster, did he, guys?
Oh, you're talking about the guy from Oakland.
Yes.
Jack Golke. Yeah. Yeah.
I wouldn't mind
the
a Larry
problem.
Nance
Jeremy,
Jr. at
why are
OKC.
Jeremy, why are you mentioning these guys when
You
neither
know,
one of those guys?
Jeremy, you just said Larry Nance Jr. and then you were wanting a 3-point shooter.
I don't
He leads
understand
the league.
Isaiah Joe. Why would you go get?
Wait, Jackson doesn't know ball.
Yeah.
Larry Nance Jr. leads the league in 3-point shooting. I'm sure of it.
This year on percentage,
I think.
You just said you're sure of it, followed by a think.
I thought I saw that. I thought I saw
what's
that.
his attempts per game? I want to see his attempts.
Mavs own y'all. Guess what, Alejandro? I don't play ball. I'm not on the Thunder.
Yeah.
Mavs don't own me. They do own the Thunder, though. I agree, Alejandro.
2.6 attempts per game. So not many.
Nope.
He does lead the NBA in percentage at 667. But again, only 2.6 attempts per game.
Hey, we got Corey. I think we got Corey on the line.
What up, y'all?
So
Well, not the Thunder's record after tonight, but go ahead.
Germ, hey, first off, let me say a couple things, okay?
That's why you called. Let's hear it.
Germ, sometimes you say the most out-of-pocket stuff. Like, does Larry Nance Jr. even shoot three-pointers? He's a center.
3 a game, buddy.
Oh, okay. Well,
That's it.
something.
3 a game. I thought he shot more than that. I was wrong, but he is the leading 3-point shooter. What's up, Corey? What are your thoughts on tonight's game?
So, first off, PJ Washington, he is not that guy.
He is against the Thunder.
he is against the Thunder.
Well, PJ Washington sucks. Obviously, we aren't doing something right. Glad I didn't go to this game, and glad I went to the game we actually won. So that's good.
Hey, until the Thunder can stop PJ Washington, he is that guy against him.
Yeah.
They have not proven they can stop him.
Hey,
No, they haven't.
what change would you make if you had to make a change for who's guarding Mark Dagnall, Washington?
I mean, you can't put Dort on him because you need Dort elsewhere.
That's part of the problem with the Mavs is like no Doncic tonight, but usually they have Doncic and Luka, so you're trying to or Doncic and Kyrie, you're trying to balance where Dort goes between the two of them. At times it doesn't really matter who's on Kyrie. He's so explosive that he's going to create shots, just one of the best players in the league at that. So
What about
I
Kendrick?
don't know. On Washington?
Yeah.
I don't know.
I don't mind that.
They could.
I don't think that's a realistic matchup because, I mean, how many minutes did Kenny play tonight? It wasn't.
I agree because of the minutes. It's a hard deal.
He played 18, a little bit more than I thought, but still, he's not in the starting lineup. He's not really playing a whole lot. They're starting to increase, so maybe you see him get into that starting lineup later on.
Bro, my aunt and uncle were at the game tonight, and I asked my uncle if that new center that we got played at all, and he didn't. He was on the bench the whole game.
Yeah.
He will play probably Tuesday night.
Yeah.
Alejandro's just really bashing the Thunder tonight.
Alejandro, call
here's
in.
the deal. He can win. The Thunder can't beat the Mavs right now. Until they can beat the Mavs, they haven't shown that they can. And tonight, no Luka, and they still get it done.
Well, and I think there's the argument that if the Thunder were healthy, they're not. But let's say they do match up against the Mavs in the playoffs, and both teams are healthy. And if you need an answer for PJ Washington, how about you put Chet out on him? There's always
I don't know. We'll have to wait till Chet comes back till you have that. Hey, Corey, thanks for the call tonight. Hey, Colby says Kyrie's like Vanna White, never getting old, and Pat Sajak for that matter.
Yeah.
Jack is a Maverick fan, born and raised in Dallas. Really like y'all's coach. Anyway, good game, guys. Hey, Jack, the Thunder and I do not want the Thunder to play the Mavs in the playoff. That matchup does not bode well for the Thunder. But I agree. I love Mark Daigneault. I think he's great, but they've got to figure out how to beat the Mavs because the Mavs are going to be there in the end. They're going to be in the Western Conference playoffs, and I just hope it's not against the Thunder early on.
Hey, what do y'all biggest takeaway from this game tonight? Maybe before, because they got the Spurs next. Wemby, totally different animal than the bigs for Dallas. He's more he shoots more outside than these other guys. So just kind of tell me your thoughts after tonight. 10-3.
The biggest takeaway I think from tonight is Thunder got behind the arc, did not shoot great, 33%, compared to some nights giving up 40%, getting out rebounded by 24 boards.
53-29.
Yeah, game seemed to be completely over. They still found a way to get it to where it came down to the final shot. So I think that's the big takeaway from tonight is even though the Thunder were trailing by double digits late in the fourth quarter, they were able to find a way to come back and just came up a little short tonight.
Yeah, I think Thunder, they need their bigs back. As like right now, it's not going to happen, but if they have to play Braden Carlson for him to just be in there and have size, potentially block some shots and get rebounds, you need to play him because they need help there really bad. And tonight it showed it. And you need to find players that can get rebounds at a consistent level.
And my final takeaways are, again, small lineups fine. It can be great. It can be grand, okay? But when it gets down to it, if you can't rebound the ball, it doesn't matter how good it is, okay? They've got to get their bigs back. I agree. And then when they face the Mavs again, they got to figure out how to defend that team because they're struggling right now defensively when they're doubling down because of the lack of size and they're allowing 3-ball corners and things like that. So,
yeah, I would just say I think we all knew when Chet went out, and now you've had Caruso out for 3 games. It's kind of like we talked about a few nights ago. You just kind of got to survive this, okay? And when they had Suns and Mavericks back-to-back, you got to get a split. They did. I know it was different because Suns didn't have a whole lot of players playing, and then Luke is out. But that's what you have to do during this stretch is win the games you can win, and the other ones, like tonight, I'm going to give it up to the Thunder. They didn't play good at all, and they had a chance to win the game. And that to me was pretty unbelievable that they came back. I said it was over a few times during the game, no chance. They did come back. They fought. That's the one thing, a few good things for the Thunder is they're very young. So I do think, like when you talk about these guys that are playing the 5 position that shouldn't be, they're young. Their bodies are a little bit more susceptible to handling it than some guys that would be older. So I think that could bode well. But it can't be a long period of time that Hartenstein's – if they find out next week that Hartenstein's going to have to be extended out, you got to go figure something out.
Yeah, and hey, Jack, thanks for the compliment. Jay, you mentioned that, or someone mentioned on here, they think the Mavs may be better this year than they were last year, and they might be. We'll see as it gets closer, as the season progresses, kind of where these teams end up. But I foresee a lot of battles going on between these two teams during the season in the playoffs. So thanks again for watching another episode of Thunder Forum Live. We'll be back again Tuesday night as the Thunder take on, Victor Wembanyama and the San Antonio Spurs. Till next time, everybody.